Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about how I rate books. The reason I'm doing this is because when I'm watching a review of a book or seeing how many stars someone gave it on Goodreads, it's good to know what goes into that decision-making process. I rate books on the 5-star system that I got from Goodreads. Firstly, just because I review all the books I read on Goodreads, so it just makes sense to do it that way. And secondly, it just makes sense to me. It just fits with like how I like to rate books, I guess. Sometimes I do a 0.5 in between if it's not quite, you know, one or the other. Normally for me, if it's not, it tends to be if it's not quite a 3 and not quite a 4, I'll do a 3.5. That's kind of the one where I see there's a bit of in between. So just to flick through the numbers to tell you what they mean to me, a 1 is like I didn't like it at all and I didn't see any good redeeming points whatsoever. I don't have an example of a book that I've given 1 star recently because I haven't read any 1-star books recently. Usually for me, if a book is going to be 1 star, I'll just DNF it. I won't finish it because what's the point of reading a book that you hate that much and you can't see any good qualities in? So it'd be very, very rare for me to actually give a book 1 star. I give a book 2 stars when I didn't like it, but I can see some good points in the story, but it's just that for me they're outweighed by the bad points. So a couple of recent examples of books that I've given 2 stars, The Wrath in the Dawn and Tonight the Streets Are Ours. Both of those I've reviewed in full, so if you want to hear all of my thoughts on those books, I'll link those reviews down below. But yeah, so that's what 2 points means for me. 3 stars means that I liked it. It had some good points and some bad points, but for the most part the good points outweighed the bad points. So for example, I gave Second Chance Summer 3 out of 5 stars. 4 stars for me means that I really enjoyed it, but it didn't have the like deep and meaningful something that stays with you or like a bigger idea discussed or something like that. So an example of that is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. Loved that book in so many ways, but it just didn't have that thing that sticks with you. And These Broken Stars also loved that book, but it didn't have that like lasting impression. So that leads me on to 5-star books. For me, they're books that I've loved, they're my all-time favourites. For me to give a book 5 stars and for me to consider it like an all-time favourite and one that I'm gonna want to talk to everyone about and read over and over again, it has to have some kind of significant emphasis on an idea or a concept or a thought that gets me thinking and keeps me thinking about it for ages afterwards, and something that kind of really influences me. For example, recent books that I've given 5 stars to were Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell and the Harry Potter series. All of those books I've given 5 stars. That's how I differentiate between 1 to 5 stars. The things that I take into consideration as to whether, you know, what are good points and what are bad points in a book. The writing style is a big one, just whether it's easy to read, whether it's clever, that kind of thing, or whether it's bad. The setting, whether it's a world that I really like or I feel really immersed in, or if it's really unique and creative. The characters, whether I like them or dislike them, whether they feel realistic, like they could be real people, whether I can relate to them, how well developed they are, and how much of a backstory they have and all that kind of thing. The storyline or the plot is kind of goes without saying, and then things like, you know, that goes along with writing style, pacing, and that comes into it as well. And the ending of a book is quite important. And then finally, like I said, themes, ideas, symbols, big concepts and things that get you thinking also come into it for me. That's a little bit about how I rate books. Feel free to let me know. I know everyone does it differently, so I'm curious to know how other people rate books if you want to let me know in the comments. I'll link my Goodreads down below if you want to read all of the reviews that I do. Some books I do longer reviews for than others, just if I have more to say. But yeah, I'll link that down below if you want to go follow me. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I'll see you with my next one. Bye.